Hello, Money Multipliers. Welcome back to another episode of the Money Multiplier podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Kesler, and we ask ourselves, do our dollars make sense? So y'all, for you people on the YouTube right now, so I got the studio up and running just a little bit. Okay, bear with me. Apparently, it is so hard to find a tripod that's tall enough. Or maybe I need to move my sign down just a little bit, but it's a whole work in progress type of thing. So I know I wasn't here last week. I appreciate y'all for letting me take a week off, hang out with mama. I've been traveling around the country, speaking at different live events as well. But I just wanted to get to you guys a little close up of what's coming along over here in the studio world. So I will be having some guests down here in Daytona Beach, Florida. But for my solo episodes, here's a view that y'all will see. So I haven't figured them out yet, but y'all, I even have my headphones. She's a real podcasting girl now. So for y'all been following me since like 2019, I started off this show with Jonah Dew. He was he's actually a colleague of mine, a very close friend too. Jonah and I kind of started off this podcast show, kind of doing some joint episodes together. And then it was originally supposed to be for Dad's podcast. Mr. Brent Kesler was supposed to be taking this podcast over, doing it. But let's be real, Brent is not great with equipment, technology, and all of that stuff. And it's just hard to pin him down. It's like, he is like that student in school that you would have to nag him to get his homework turned in on time. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm talking shit, Pops. But, so then I was like, all right, Dad, well, if you're not going to do this, I'm going to take it over. I love podcasts. In my free time or when I'm driving, I listen to podcast episodes all the time. So ever since then, I was at my old house over here in Daytona Beach, just more inland, and I had my office / podcast studio set up, and then it kind of got to a point that I was like, okay, I kind of need more space. I need like a designated podcasting room and a room for my office and then a room for my bedroom, because it's hard. I mean, if you guys are content creators, it's hard to go in and set up the equipment time and time again, because once you get it all set up, it kind of gets to the point you're like, all right, well, now I have no more energy. I really don't want to record right now. So that's kind of how I was feeling. And then if you follow like my vlog channel, if you just go to YouTube and search my name, Hannah Kesler, Hannah spelled the same ways forwards and backwards, Kesler with one S. I did a whole story time on how my HOA was kind of ticking me off. And okay, guys, if you don't want me here, I'm okay to leave. I need more space anyways. So that really advanced my move of coming over here to Beachside. So I'm excited. So here's a little glimpse of what we're going to be doing as our first kind of testing trial as we get into this and really square it all away. And bear with me, I am a busy working girl. I'm on the road teaching live events, doing webinars and different things as well. So we should have it nailed down. By the end of this year, we should have everything nailed down. And Mr. Drew Hitchcock, I know you're watching me right now. I might be flying you out here to Daytona Beach and helping me set everything up. So hopefully, if you're open for that, the invitation is there. So, anywho's, well, in this episode today, I have some thoughts and opinions, and I want to get into kind of some rants. I don't want to call them rants, but I have some things that have been bothering me. They've been on my mind, and I just want to get them off my chest, and I think a lot of y'all will hear me out on this. Now, some of the things I might say, I might piss some people off. Let's just be real. But I'm just going to be very real and very blunt with y'all. One thing that I've been noticing about myself is I can get a little sassy. So I'm going to be saying some stuff that might hurt some of y'all's feelings, but it's something that needs to be said. I mean, I am here. This is what Pops has always said. I am here to be effective and efficient in your financial life. Trust me, I'm not looking for any more friends. You don't got to invite me to your birthday parties or send me a Christmas card. I'm here and I want to be effective and efficient in your financial life so you can live that fulfilled life that you deserve. So in this episode, I really titled it Mastering the Money Game. And how I came up with this title too. I mean, if y'all know that Tony Robbins book, Money Master the Game, that's kind of how I was thinking about it. So shout out to Tony Robbins. Go check that book out because, hey, chapter 5.4 of that book, Tony Robbins talks about the infinite banking concept. I know it's never been explained in the way that we do here at the Money Multiplier. And if you haven't already, check out our presentation. That's a really good place to start if this is like the first episode that you're ever seeing of us. If you go to our website, themoneymultiplier.com/presentation, you can go and find that 90-minute recorded presentation, meet my father on there, or go directly to the source. Go read Nelson Nash's book, Becoming Your Own Banker. I mean, that's the Bible of infinite banking, and the reason that we are all here doing what we do and keep spreading this powerful message. Because let's be real, people are very misinformed about whole life insurance and the living benefits of what whole life insurance can do. I don't even like to say the word whole life insurance because it's like once I say that, y'all turn me off because you're like, Hannah, I know everything there is to know about whole life insurance. I don't need to be taught anything else because Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman told me that whole life insurance is the worst place to put my money. Anyways, I won't even get on that rant today because I got some other rants I want to go on. But my team, I appreciate y'all as well because I've been kind of switching up on them. We actually had another episode planned for this week, but I said, y'all, I got some thoughts and things on my mind, and I think this will be very beneficial for the community. So I'm going to be looking down because I just got my notes here on my phone. But with that being said, it is a Saturday afternoon as of this recording. I am home. I just came home from Chicago late last night. Prior to that, I was over in California the last time y'all saw me. Actually, last time y'all saw me, I was in a hotel room in Philadelphia. So what I did is flew from Philly to San Francisco. I met my mother out there. She got in around like 12:15. I arrived at like 12:40. We hopped in the rental car. We went up to Napa Valley. We spent 2 nights up there. We did one winery up there. Then we did some shopping in Napa. Oh my gosh, we went to this place that had the best gyros and Del Montes, the stuffed grape leaves. Oof, those things have my freaking heart. But my mom still talks about it to this day. She's like, that is probably the best gyro I've ever had. I think it was a place called Small World. So if you guys are out in the Napa Valley area, downtown Napa, Small World, great food. We spent 2 nights there. Then we drove down the coast, US 1. We went to Hearst Castle. If you haven't ever been to Hearst Castle, highly recommend, especially for my families who have children or teens, young adults and different things. I really enjoyed it. And again, I like history, so I don't know. But if you're into architecture and history and different things, that is a really cool place. So that's in San Simeon, California. And then I booked us a hotel room right there on the coast, like 3 miles south of Hearst Castle. So we stayed there. We saw some sea lions, some sea otters. That was really cool. And then we had to drive down to Rancho Cucamonga. So then I had an event there. So shout out David, your people are awesome. And then on Thursday, I had an event with Justin. Justin and I met actually earlier this year in February. Pops and I were out in San Diego and we're doing an event called Veterans for Financial Freedom. So Justin was the MC of that event. He's just a great dude. I really love him. So that was our second event that we've done together. Met a whole bunch of great connections. Literally found a lending deal doing it. I mean, hey, I just get up on stage and I say, this is what I do with my policies. Also, if you are borrowers looking to be a borrower, you have projects that you're working on, I lend money. I do no less than the first position, and my going rates are anywhere from 14 to 16%. Holler at your girl. And then we kind of talked. So that was really cool. So I found a lending deal that we just funded this week as well. Put my little green men to work. And then after that, Mom and I drove to Beverly Hills and we stayed 2 nights at the Four Seasons. Ooh, that place is amazing. I've never been to the Four Seasons. Like, I've been to some Ritz-Carlton, like really nice properties and the hospitality there, but that was really cool. So we got massages the first night, just kind of hung out. We watched the movie in bed. Okay, let me say this. We watched the movie The Fall Guy, which is a great movie. It has Ryan Gosling in it. Ryan Gosling, he was my like actor crush growing up. So I love Ryan Gosling. But seeing him in that movie, it was such a great movie. But they charged me $20 to rent the movie at the hotel. I was like, whatever, we'll just pay the $20, rent this movie for the night. But then as I was coming home last night on Southwest Airlines, I see that The Fall Guy is on there on the Southwest movies. And me being the type of person I am, I'm like, shit, I should have just waited. I could have seen the movie for free on the Southwest Airlines. Anyways, but it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. My mama, I don't think as much, just because she's not as deep into like the action and different things, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie. So Fall Guy, if you guys haven't seen that, that's a great movie. And then we actually did a tour like around Hollywood. You know, we went to the observatory, Hollywood Boulevard. We went to Santa Monica Pier, and we did a couple other stops like along the way too. Let me be real. I have never really explored California, like the LA area. Like I've been there plenty of times for business and doing events, but I've never had like downtime to go and explore and hang out at. I thought I would enjoy Hollywood Boulevard a lot more than what I did. Like, yeah, it was cool to see things in person, but they portray it a lot more glitz and glammy on television than what it actually is in real life. I was like, y'all, this is just like, it's a city. It's just a city street. That's all that it is. Like, yeah, it's cool seeing like all the stars and everything, and the big theaters and Jimmy Kimmel's a studio there and different things. But I was like, y'all, this is just like a city street. So I was kind of let down by Hollywood Boulevard. But it was a really good trip. And then on that Sunday, then we packed up. We flew across the country, direct flight from LAX back to Orlando, then drove home over here to Daytona Beach. So what is going on? So actually, as of this episode airs, number one, hope y'all had a fun and safe Labor Day. But actually this week, for all of my Orlando or Central Florida people, I will be at Think Realty on Thursday and Friday. I got 2 sessions on Thursday. I'm going to be on the main stage, and I got a breakout session. And then on Friday, they asked me to be on a panel. So myself and Jason Sipple, a lot of y'all know Jason Sipple, I believe, on the team. He is a great dude. If you don't know Jason, get to know him. But Jason and I, we're going to be out there. We got a booth. We're just going to be chatting with people and keep spreading the message of privatized banking. So that's what's been going on in my little world. So without further ado, I am sipping on today, this Saturday afternoon. Long story short, I won't get into it because I know I'm blabbing my gums right now, but I just came back home from a van trip. I was up in Alabama visiting my grandparents, and there's a little concert going over there, and I stopped for gas at this gas station, went in to do my business. And then I saw these. I was wanting to pick up like a cold water, and I saw these blueberry wheat ales, and it's from the Good People Brewing Company. I was like, ooh, that sounds really good. And for y'all who know me, y'all know I like my craft beers. So I'm sipping on a blueberry wheat ale today. So grab your beverage, grab a snack, and let's get into the episode. So I was kind of thinking about this past week when I was in Chicago. There were a lot of great speakers there. The event host, his name is Tom Olson. His company is called Good Success. So shout out to Tom Olson. He's located in Gary, Indiana, and he's on this mission to just make Gary, Indiana beautiful. Okay, so if y'all are familiar with that area of Indiana, it's not the greatest area, but I've noticed my past few years of going and speaking at Tom's events, it has really been uplifted. It had a really great makeover. So, and I can really see this transformation being put into action with his legacy that he wants to leave there because he grew up in Gary, Indiana. And so I was kind of thinking about this when I was sitting there in the audience listening to all the speakers. You know, who is the person that you do not want to see within your neighborhood? It's a thief, right? I don't want to have a thief within my neighborhood, somebody to steal from me. And I'm not just talking about stealing items or money from me. I mean, I don't want a thief within my life who steals like my time. Y'all, think about it. You guys are out there stealing people's time. You waste people's time. And I'm not saying it's you. It's just, of these people that are all hat, no cattle's what I like to say. All talk, no action. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. You don't want to be a thief, and you don't want to have a thief within your community and within your neighborhood. So then from a step up from a thief, what is a step under that? Not up from it, excuse me. What is a step under that? So I have my thief, and then under that, it's probably a beggar, right? I would rather have a beggar within my community rather than a thief because, they're just annoying, right? Begging me, asking for help. And again, everybody deserves to ask and we want to be helpful. But when somebody's a beggar who's just begging and want to milk off of you versus somebody who is in actual dire need of needing some help, right? So, we have our thief, we have our beggar. Don't just be a beggar. And then underneath of that, then we have our whiners. Okay, I got my whiners who are irritating, but sometimes the whiners, they could be really good hard workers. They could be the type of people that kind of complain every day that they get up and, oh my gosh, I got to go to work again. I really hate my job. I don't want to go do this. First of all, what even life is that to live if you don't enjoy your occupation and what you're doing for your community? But I digress. So, don't be a whiner. I just cannot stand whining. Like, throw yourself a little pity party if crap sucks right now. I get it. Throw yourself a pity party for a day or two. But then after that, you got to pick yourself up. Because when you start to take the accountability for yourself, your mindset, your actions, that's when you really start to win. You start to really live this fulfilled life. So you got to take responsibility for everything. And I think the first thing that we got to do is we just got to show up. And I'm not talking about just showing up like at event. I think it's great that we show up at events, but just show up everywhere in your life. If you're going to show up and read for yourself at the end of the night, don't just gloss your eyes over the words as you're reading to yourself in your bed. Show up and be present 100% of the way. But then when you do show up, be in that room and start to participate. Be there, interact with one another, participate, and ask people, what are you doing? How can I help you? Because I'm telling y'all right now, love really listens. Okay, when you are there to not just take, and you are there to really spread and help other people, what do I always say on the show? It's a Zig Ziglar quote. If you help enough people get what they want, you in return will get what you want. So ask the questions and then shut up. Oh my gosh, I'm telling that to like everybody. Some of y'all will just keep going on and on and on and on, and it's like, just shut the F up sometimes. So listen, see what other people's problems are, and see if you can help solve some of their problems that they have. So listen, spread the love, spread the encouragement, and just listen to these folks. Because when I go into these rooms, I don't like to work. A lot of y'all don't like to work, right? I don't want to look at my work like it's work. And I hate the term networking because especially in the middle of the word, it has that word work in it. No one likes to work, right? But if I can cancel that out and not look at it as networking, but more as connections and building those connections really turn into lifelong friendships that are very, very sustainable. A lot of my people in my life right now, I met them through my business. And so I don't really go out to think about it as networking. I go out and I think about it as adding connections and value. Because, hey, if you don't want to do business with me or I don't want to do business with you, that's totally fine. Hopefully, at the end of it, we just build this connection and I'll just get a new friend at the end of it. Shout out Mr. Justin Lofty there for that one. So, go out there, make yourself known, just show up. And it's okay, if you go and show up at your first, real estate meetup group, or maybe it's a yoga group thing that people are doing, or a mastermind, I don't know. But, go to rooms that are with like-minded people. Like, here's something else that I think about a lot, and you guys have heard this before. The top 5 people, you become the average of the top 5 people that you hang around with. I'll even go deeper into that, especially when we're talking about money and our wealth. If you think about the top 5 people that you hang around with, calculate up all of their net worths and divide it by 5. That's going to be your net worth. You are the average of the net worth of the top 5 people you hang around with. So you need to be in good company and just listen. You do not know everything. I do not know everything. I am always learning and being open to new things and possibilities that come across me. I mean, for instance, like on Monday, I have a call with somebody who they run an organization, and I was like, hey, my clients are bringing this up a lot. I need to know more about this. Like, what are you guys doing? How can I help you? And supporting the people that are also your clients so we can really bridge this gap so we can help them both mutually together. I think about it all the time. Jason Lowe says, hey, you don't need to own the ocean to sail on it. There's plenty of ocean out there and collaboration that can be made. So I'm going to go out there and connect and really spread positivity, the love, the knowledge that I have up to this point. And then I'm going to shut up and I'm going to listen so that I can take whatever accountability, resources, knowledge that they have. And again, I don't have to apply everything that they're saying to my life and my business of what I'm doing, but I want to make sure that I'm just listening and I can grasp, hey, is this something that I maybe want to look into and I could start incorporating? So from the mindset there, I kind of want to shift, okay? This is where I'm going to start pissing a lot of people off. I was thinking about this. This notes app literally came about because I was sitting in bed one day. I just got back home from my van trip and I was getting so irritated. I was going through my emails. I was going through some messages. And I want to do a big PSA by telling y'all to stop putting your financial life and your projects off. Stop putting them off. And again, this could be a big memo and PSA to Hannah Kesler from Hannah Kesler, because there's a lot of things that I'm putting off right now. I mean, shit, what did I just talk about when I opened this episode? My podcast studio here. I mean, this has been a thing in the making, and it's just been because I've been traveling and doing all of this other stuff. But again, all of those are just excuses. I can set down the time, not take strategy calls, not do this, not take Daisy and Monroe on a walk. And speaking of, Monroe's sitting right here next to me. She's so cute. And Daisy's over there on the floor. But, I could be in here working on my studio instead of going out there and taking them on a walk or riding my bike on the beach and doing different things like that. So stop putting things off, especially when it comes to your financial life. Here's what my nanny says. We call her nanny, my nana, my grandmother. In part of my French, she says, shit or get off the pot. I know you guys have heard that before, but shit or get off the pot, y'all. Stop stealing people's times because you keep putting it off, because you are not taking your financial health Seriously, you have time in a day to sit down and really work on you and your financial life of what you're doing. So stop putting it off. I'm telling you, the laziness, the irresponsibility, there has to come a time and a place in a day where you got to face it and then you got to fix it. I know it's work and we hate to do work, but I'm telling you right now, you can keep walking down the life that you've been living all these years up to this point, or you can finally fix it in this thing for yourself and your family. What do you want to do? You can be at the same position you are today, 10 years later down the road, or you can be actively working small increment steps to get you to where you're going to be different 10 years down the road. Time is going to pass no matter what. Time is a resource that we can never, ever, ever get back. No matter how powerful, how broke, or whoever you are, your name, time is a resource that nobody can ever get back. So you got to really treat that time as a respected value of currency. So take that time to really face it and fix it. And here's what I'm going to say. This is where kind of I started to think about this and kind of go off on myself. Is that, people are coming to me and they're saying, Hannah, I've seen your content. I've seen you on stage teaching about IBC, and I want to start my policy, but I don't know how to start with. I don't know how much I should start with. I don't really know what's going on in my financial life. I'm not budgeting. I don't really know what's going on in my business. Or maybe I'm just a W-2 person and I'm just going through the motions of life. I get up, go to bed every day, and I just do my thing. Well, you should be the one telling me how much that you want to put inside of your policies. I mean, you should know what you are producing for yourself and your family. You should know, what is my income monthly? What are my expenses? Where are my expenses going? The subscriptions that I have in different things. And then the leftover that you're keeping and saving for yourself, those should be the dollars that start to flow through your policy. This is nothing new, y'all. This is why I do like Dave Ramsey. He's great at, teaching people how to budget, live within their means, not hit Parkinson's law is what Nelson Nash calls it. But I do think he's wrong on some criteria of things. But one thing that we gotta always do is we need to understand the flow of the money that's coming into us and what's going out the door. Again, I use the app Rocket Money. I love Rocket Money. Speaking of, actually, I was coming back home from Alabama. It was a Sunday, and I was like, I'm in like a little chatty of a mood right now. I think it was my coffee kicking in. And so I started to make my rounds, calling up my family. I think I called my friend first, and then I called my younger brother. And if you know my younger brother, shout out to Zach. Zach is not much of a talker, but when he does get into talking and he is in the mood to talk, he can talk. He's a little chatty Cathy. We were on the phone for 40 minutes, and Zach just shared with me, because he's asking me about money stuff. So he's 23, so he's 2 years younger than me. And he says, Hannah, I got the app Rocket Money. I literally almost wanted to cry. I was like, Zach, you got Rocket Money? I've been preaching this to you for so long. I am so proud of you. And so he says, yeah, I had no idea I was spending all this money on these subscriptions, and this is how I'm tracking everything. I get it now. I know how to track all of my stuff. And I was just so proud. It was such a proud older sister moment. So I'm telling you right now, and you don't got to use the app Rocket Money. I was just on a Zoom call earlier this morning with one of my clients. She's about to start her second policy, and she was bringing up this spreadsheet that had all of these freaking numbers in it. And I was like, let's give her a name. Let's call her Susan. All right, making up a name. I said, Susan, do you really know what's going on in the spreadsheet right now? She goes, no, I just keep kind of adding to it as time goes on, but I really don't go back and check on anything. Then what in the hell are you doing keeping this spreadsheet when you're not going back and checking on this stuff or really tracking and monitoring what you're doing? What is the purpose of this? You're kind of being a thief to your own time because you think you're doing something great, but you're just spending the time doing something that's really not going to be beneficial to you. Why are you doing that? So you guys think that you're doing things that are great, and I'm proud of you that you're making the effort to do it. But if you're just doing stuff and you're not going back and tracking what you're doing or looking into the details like that, what in the hell are y'all doing just besides stealing from yourselves and your time from you? So again, that's why I use the app Rocket Money. I'm not sponsored by them whatsoever. I just use them. I'm a customer of them. I pay them $5 a month and it automatically tracks everything. I have all the credit cards hooked up to it, all of my bank accounts, yes, my business account and my personal account. And my biggest one that I look at all the time is that net leftover. Last month, I was able to save 60% of my income last month. 60. I tell you that we should be saving at least 10% of it. So save 10% all the way up to 100%. That's what we want to be keeping for ourselves. So from that, when you start to track it in that manner, then you know how much you should be depositing into your policies, and you will be telling me, okay, I got it nailed down. I'm tracking it now. Hannah, I know I can do comfortably $2,000 a month inside of my policy, right? So my ADD is going off. Let me just share this thought as it's like kind of tracking right now. Policy premiums, y'all. Reminder, you can always lower the policy premiums, right? When I'm starting new policies for myself, I always overshoot the policy premium that I'm doing. For instance, I'll give you a real life example. And I'm not saying this for bragging rights or anything like that, but I just really want y'all to know that this is my true, honest thing that I'm doing. So, right, you guys know that I have 7 policies currently within my own banking system. I'm looking to open up my 8th policy. And again, this is where Hannah needs to take some responsibility because I've been saying this to myself going on probably since June. All right, now we're sitting here in September. So Hannah, shit or get off the pot. But what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about opening up this 8th policy, $10,000 a month. How I came to this conclusion is because I know I can do comfortably $5,000 a month into this new policy. With all of my other policy premiums and then adding on another one, I know I can do another $5,000 a month easy peasy. But I said, hey, I could do $10,000. I mean, Hannah, for the last 3 months, you've been saving over 60% of your income. You could easily do $10,000 a month inside of this policy. It makes me a little uncomfortable thinking, oh my gosh, I got an 8th policy, 120 grand going into this thing, where I started, what's the math on that? 7 years ago, my first policy, $400 a month, and now I'm here about to do one for 120 grand a year. That's $10,000 a month. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? So I was going to do, and I am going to do the $10,000 a month, but I know that in the back of my mind, I can always go inside of that policy and I can reduce the premium down, right? Even though I set those premiums at $10,000 a year, I can always go in there and reduce it down to that base premium if I needed to, and I do come into a cash flow bind. Hopefully things happen as they should be happening. I'll never have to go in there and reduce it down, but I can if I needed to. So policy premiums are just extremely flexible in that manner. And then don't be afraid to keep capitalizing the policy. But anyways, went off on the fork in the road. Let's kind of get back on track here. So going back to mindset, it's not enough that you do your best. You do whatever it takes. I understand that we're going to do our best and we're going to strive to do the best that we can, and we should be doing the best that we can. But if you really want that change within your life, you are going to do whatever it takes to get you to that next level. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of whiners and beggars, because you should be putting in the work to do what it takes to get you to that next level. And if it were easy, there would be no Hannah Kesler. If it were easy, there would be no Chris Noggle. Now say it with your name. If it were easy, there would be no... I hope you said it out loud. So if it were easy, you wouldn't be tuning into this podcast right now. You would be out there going and listening to other fun content, or sitting your butt on the couch, or just being lazy in bed doing whatever you like to do with your fun time off. And you should be spending the time doing the fun things in life that you're doing. But if it were easy, you would not be sitting here tuning into this episode and learning more and more about how to get yourself and your family to that next level. So again, let's say it one more time. If it were easy, there would be no Daisy Kesler. Daisy's sitting there with her eyes closed right now. She's paying no damn attention to me. So I want you to give yourself some grace, because it's not easy, but persistency. You got to stay persistent. You got to stay consistent with what you are doing. And when you really do it, step-by-step increments, I'm telling you, it's going to be so much different. I'm just thinking back to just even last year, where I'm seeing myself last year to where I'm at now. So much has changed, and so much can change in a year's time frame. It kind of makes me think about, like, back in the day. Like, I remember this story that mom told me, you know, when dad was thinking about getting into, like, chiropractic school, for instance. You know, he was actually a grocery store manager at Save-A-Lot, and he met my mom in St. Louis. So they're both living in St. Louis at the time. And my mom's a nuclear engineer. I mean, she's a badass lady. And mom was there in St. Louis because she just went through some tough times with her last relationship that didn't work out very well. And her parents, my grandma and grandpa, they were living in St. Louis at the time. So that's why my mom found herself in St. Louis. And then dad was there. I don't even know how dad ended up there. I got to ask him that, actually. But I know he ended up there, and he was he transferred. It was a store transfer for Save-A-Lot. He was a store manager there, and they wanted him to transfer to the St. Louis store from Ohio, where he was born at. And so they actually met on a dating site, right? And, they were going for a little bit. They were dating. And then, it got serious, right? It got to the point where they're thinking about getting married. And, they got married. And I think this was back in like it was maybe 2000. Because I was already born. I don't know if because Zach was born in St. Louis too. So I want to say it was around the time of 2003, 2004, where dad had these aspirations to start and want to go to chiropractic school. And dad was kind of coming to mom and saying, hey, I want to go to chiropractic school, but if I go to chiropractic school, I'm 30 years old right now. I'm going to be 34 by the time that I get out of chiropractic school. And mom turns to him and says, well, Brent, you're going to be 34 no matter if you do go to chiropractic school, if you don't go to chiropractic school. So I want you to really think about that story, and I want you to take the time into your consideration that, again, time is a very powerful and precious resource. Don't waste your time on doing the stupid crap, or because you're scared or nervous about all of the what ifs that's going to happen. So I am going to keep giving, and what I give, I'm going to get gifted anyways. It all goes back to the Zig Ziglar quote, but if I keep giving, I'm going to get gifted in the end anyways. So, with that being said, let's talk a little bit more about money, okay? The money and the mindset of everything. The most important rule in the money world is cash flow. The second most important rule is leverage. I would even argue, because actually that quote kind of stops there, but I would even argue that the third most important rule is uninterrupted compounding interest. Uninterrupted compounding interest. And there's a lot of talk right now in the economy about the beating inflation and keep putting, money to work, and how do I beat inflation? I got all this money into the markets and it's all locked up and yada, yada, yada. But how am I going to beat inflation? You know what I do? I'm going to keep putting more and more money into whole life insurance policies with a mutual company that pays dividends. Because these insurance companies, they have sustained the test of time. They have I don't know if beat's the right word, but they have beat the Great Depression, 2008 era, our depression that we're about to come into here soon. I call it depression, but you can call it recession too. But, these insurance companies, they've been around for a long, long time, and they've sustained the tests of times because of how they operate on their business practices of what they do. So how am I going to beat inflation and the crap that's about to be thrown at us Q1, Q2 of next year? Is I'm just going to keep putting more and more dollars inside of my whole life policies, and I'm going to keep moving my money, and I'm going to put it into guaranteed investment or guaranteed places so that I don't have to worry about what's going on in the world that's around me. So I call it more money, more freedom. You know how Biggie Smalls has that song, More Money, More Problems? I call it more money, more freedom. So last two little bullet points I want to hit here, because I am on a rambling roll today. I don't know. I just had a lot of thoughts in me I just needed to get out. But I have a few other things. Number one, shout out to Miss Debbie. Miss Debbie, I want to create her a shirt, because she got up there on stage and she goes, I just do. I just do. I said, that is the most simplistic, most powerful 3 words I have ever heard. I just do. I think about that almost every single day. I'm going to get up because I just do. I'm going to go to the gym just because I just do. I'm going to cook myself a hearty, healthy meal just because I just do. A lot of you folks just want to take the path of least resistance and take the easy way out. But again, you're tuning in here to this podcast because you're not that type of person. You are the people that are actually going to go out there and create differences within your life and your community. So get up and just say, I just do. I do this because I just do. This is what I should be doing. This is how I live my fulfilled and happy life. I just do. I'm not going to question everything and think about all the what ifs. And you should. Again, there's so many odds to the spectrum here, so many extremes to the spectrum, I should say. But you get up and you do it just because I just do. I'm not going to question every single tiny little thing, get that paralysis by analysis, but I just do. Here's another little funny quote. Actually, Larry Steinhaus had this on a shirt. If you guys don't know Larry Steinhaus, him and I actually were planning an event coming up in March of 2025, so stay tuned for that. For all of my Gen Z millennial listeners, if you remember on Disney Channel, okay, some of my listeners right now, you're not going to get what I'm saying, but if you remember on Disney Channel, do you remember that big crossover? It was That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, and it was That's So Raven. So it was Raven Baxter, and then Zach and Cody, Dylan and Cole Sprouse, and then it was Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana, and they did a whole big collab episode. That's how I'm going to market this event. It's going to be like a big crossover from investor schooling, money hacks, and the money multiplier, and that's how we're going to do like a big crossover event. But Larry Steinhaus, he's up there in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. He wrote this book, Money Hacks. Okay, hopefully y'all can see it. I think you can. But Money Hacks. You can go to Amazon and get this book. Chapter 13 of this book, Larry talks about the infinite banking concept. He actively does this in his own life. Great mentor. Yes, he's got a bold personality, but once you get to really know him and understand that he just cares, he's a great, great dude. Love him. But My biggest thing about why I love this book so much is because on the front title, because everything you think you know about money is wrong. I just love that title. But why I'm bringing Larry up, so shout out to Larry, go check out his book, Money Hacks. But I'm bringing Larry up because he actually has a shirt I saw in his office. It said, if you are not making money, it's because you aren't doing what I am telling you to do. This is what I mean by that. He has a bull personality. He just says it. He's a straight shooter. But I love the shirt. I said, Larry, how can I get a shirt like that? I thought I was sassy. He's a sassy man. But I love that. If you are not making money, it's because you aren't doing what I am telling you to do. Larry, you're hitting the nail on the freaking head there, man. I mean, people are, again, being thieves, being beggars, wanting to come to you and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word. What's it called? Picking your brain. They want to brain pick you all day long, asking you all these questions. But then they go back to their everyday lifestyle and they're not doing it themselves. They just want to steal your time and your knowledge, but then they don't actively implement it in their own lives. It's so freaking frustrating to me, y'all. I get so irritated with people who will hop on my line, say, yeah, this is something I want to do, Hannah. Because the thing is, y'all, when I go out and I teach on the infinite banking concept, I never cold call. I never ask to send out mass emails or text people. Give me your email list and your calling list, and I want to call all these people. I do not cold call. The reason that I have people's contact information is because you turn it into me, and you are the one who is telling me, yeah, Hannah, I want to have a conversation, and let's chat sometime. Here's my phone number. Here's my email. And then you know what you do? You ghost. You ghost. I thought ghosting was just something in my generation, being a Gen Z on the dating apps or doing whatever like that in the dating world. No, man. I thought ghosting would go away as I get older. Hell no. You guys love to ghost. Why? Why is that? Why are you wasting your time and other people's times? Just because you want to act the act? Because you're big hat, no cattle, taking it full circle again? I'm so freaking tired of it. Stop wasting my time and stop wasting your time. It's rude, right? Anyways, you can tell it's been irritating me, and it doesn't happen a whole lot, but when it happens, it really freaking irks me because I get it. Everybody's busy. I am effing busy, dude. I don't have a social life really outside of my business life. Yeah, I find time to spend with my friends and do things that I enjoy. Like after I get done with this recording, I'm going to go take my happy butt to the mall. But actually, the whole reason I got to go to the mall is because I need to find like a bright neon blazer. I don't know if I want to share the secret with y'all now or maybe later. Maybe I'll share it with you now. Okay, follow my ADD for a second. Not next week, but the week after. Yo girl is going to be speaking on the NASDAQ stage in New York City. I'm going up there, going to be speaking on NASDAQ. And then the day after, my fat head is going to be on a Jumbotron in New York City Times Square. Ooh! It hasn't really like set in yet that I'm doing all of that stuff, but that's going to be a lot of fun. So my mentors are saying, Hannah, you need to like stand out. You need like a bright neon blazer. I said, okay. I don't really have like a bright neon blazer, but I can go find one. I'll probably only wear it this one time. No, I'll probably wear it more, but that's what I'm going to go do after this. And it's fun. It's fun for me because I enjoy what I do. Like I said, this work that I'm doing, it's not work to me. It's just me, serving the community and it's my passion to go out there and just serve and help people. Before I even got into all of this whole world of, teaching on IBC and mastering the money game, I really wanted to be actually like a school teacher. I wanted to go and teach school. I would actually make my brother sit down and play school with me when we got out of school for the summer months back in grade school. But I've always wanted to do it. I've either wanted to be a teacher or I wanted to go and be like a veterinarian and really help animals and work with animals. So this is fun. It's kind of a marriage between both, helping people and teaching people, because money's not everything, but it's pretty damn close up there next to oxygen. That's another Zig Ziglar quote. I thought my dad actually created that quote, but then I looked it up and I said, "Oh, Dad, you didn't make up this quote. It's a Zig Ziglar quote." So that's what I'm going to go do after this. After I get done recording, I'm going to go find myself a nice blazer. Yeah, it's going to be a fun social activity. I'm going to go with a friend to the mall and go do all this. But again, it's also for my business stuff. So really find a place to marry your passions that you can also get paid for in what you're doing. I know it's a lot harder and it's easier said than done, but I'm telling you, you guys are so capable of so many things that you don't even understand and realize. So if nobody else is out there hooting and hollering you on, just know that I'm in your corner and I'm always cheering you guys on. So last thing here, because I know I've been flapping my gums for about an hour or so. Here's my last thing that I want to rant about. If you are a life insurance agent and you are talking to people, whether it be about the infinite banking concept or maybe trying to help them in their policy portfolio of what they have, let me say it right now. Be a good steward of your mission and really serving people for good rather than just lining your pockets, okay? It's been happening more recently. It's always happened. I mean, when you get into like the sales world and definitely the money world, it's a dog eat dog world out here. But when I see people who come to me and they have old whole life policies, old whole life, or maybe they got a whole life policy from the Money Multiplier 6 years ago, and I see something come through from the insurance company saying, hey, that they're going to 1035 that policy into an IUL or exchange it into a term life policy. What in the hell are you guys doing, y'all? I would never, ever, ever exchange, replace, terminate an old whole life insurance contract, no matter what insurance company that it's with. For instance, I had a gentleman that I met up in Philadelphia. He has an old State Farm life insurance policy that he started back in 1991. He's only putting $250 a year inside of that whole life policy. He's now 62 years old. And let's give him a name. Let's call him Phil. I said, Phil, do not replace this policy. Yes, I understand it's a small policy. You're putting in $250 a year. It only has about $30,000 of a death benefit to it. But look right here. Up to date currently, you're putting in $250 a year, and the cash is growing by $430 a year. I'm not a math genius, but I know that's 100% plus growth on my money that year, and that's just the guaranteed side of the contract. Let's look at the non-guaranteed side. If we incorporate those dividends, you put in $250 a year inside of that policy, and the cash is growing by $550 every single year plus some. Because, right, uninterrupted compounding, it gets more better and better year after year. But where you're at right now, I think it's year 34. Hold on, let me do my math on this. So 2024 minus 1991, 33. Ooh, she did good. For a girl that's not great at mental math, she did good. So we're in the 33rd year of the policy right now. You're putting in $250 a year, and on the non-guaranteed side that incorporates the dividends, you're getting $530 cash growth that year. Again, I know it's a small policy, but why would you ever, ever, ever stop that compounding growth that's happening inside of there? With the uninterrupted compounding, the dividends that we receive, tax-free growth, my money's protected, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just talking about how the cash is growing year by year. I'm not talking about the cumulative cash value bucket that he's got in there. Me being a good steward of my practice and wanting to do good for the community, I told him, dude, keep that thing. I would never cancel that policy out. Again, I know it's a smaller policy, $250 a year that you're putting into it, but keep it because you are not going to see that growth in any other vehicle in your lifetime, most likely. So keep it there, keep funding and capitalizing that policy because you didn't know what you know now, and it's totally okay. But don't stop that because of how old and matured it is right now. Again, a common theme for this episode is time is the most valuable resource, in my opinion. So for my life insurance agents that are out there, do good. Stop it with your BS transferring whole life policies into a stupid IUL, index universal life policy, or variable universal life policies just because you guys want to go out there and line your pocketbooks with a commission check. I believe in karma, and I know that shit's going to come and bite you in the butt one of these days. And I'm sorry, I know I'm being sassy and a little direct right now, but it's got to freaking stop, and somebody's got to say it. So I'll be the bad guy and the villain over here to say it to you. So big PSA, stop it, educate yourself, and do what's best for your client instead of you and your checkbook. Okay, that's all I had to say. I think I got one more announcement before I go on, y'all. But I really do appreciate all of y'all for being here. So I am back every single week. I'm going to keep posting more and more episodes. And I'm going to be doing it from my fancy little podcast studio over here, which is so, so exciting. I got like blackout curtains over here. You can't even see it. So if you ever come and visit me in Daytona Beach, Florida, I mean, holler at your girl. I'm right here on beachside. You can go have a beach day or something. But one more thing I wanted to tell you is that Chris Noggle and I, actually, we're going to be at the Ohio RIA this year. Okay, it's that weekend of the Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday. I'm so excited it's coming up. But we're going to be at the Ohio RIA over Halloween weekend. I think Halloween is like on a Thursday. The November 1st is on a Friday. Fact check me on that. I'm not looking at a calendar right now, but Chris and I will be at the annual Ohio RIA in Mason, Ohio together. So that one's going to be a lot of fun because Chris and I don't do events together. It's always him going out somewhere, I'm going out somewhere. So he's going to kind of be the Britt Kesler and I'm going to be the Hannah Kesler at those events. It's going to be fun. But Chris and I are writing a children's book right now. This should be ready by Christmas time. So for my parents, if you have children, and it doesn't even have to be young children. I mean, it could be any ages. I think children's books are great just for the overall message that we're trying to get across. But I would say the demographic that I'm trying to really pin down is like my ages 5 to 8. And this book, it should be ready by November 15th or so. So give me about 2 months from now. This book should be ready. It'll be hitting the markets. And it's a cool little story time of how we're teaching children about money, privatized banking, the infinite banking concept, market volatility, and different things like that. So I'm really, really excited about that book that's coming up. This is going to be my first ever book that I'm writing. And then after that, I actually have another book that I kind of want to publish out, almost like a autobiography type of book. So I'm going to be working on that. That's my goal for 2025. But so for my parents who are listening, tuning in, stay tuned. Children's book is coming your way. We got bright, colorful pictures and pages. I'm just so, so excited. This is going to be my first book. And I'm going to co-write it with my good friend, my mentor, Mr. Chris Noggle. So if you don't know Chris Naugle, go check him out on YouTube. Chris, Naugle, Chris Naugle. We got the Wealth Wednesday webinars, the Ask Me Anything webinars that we do weekly. If you go to our website, themoneymultiplier.com, up on the resources tab, you can find our events calendar. All of the virtual and live events are posted there. And also, we are 1 month out right now from Nashville, Tennessee. So the entire crew, the banking bros, the Do brothers, I got some top dogs from the insurance companies that are coming out. Noggle, my father, Stephen Nagy, all of us are going to be in one room just wanting to go deeper into this. Mr. Craig Yenny, my spreadsheets nerd. Hey, if you're an analytical, this is the content and the advanced training that you should be at. The retirement income, using HELOC money. Why should I do a HELOC versus a refi? What's the difference between velocity banking and the infinite banking concept? So much content and material that we're going to be going through those 2 days. So that is 1 month away. TheMoneyMultiplier.com. You can go and see how you can join us in Nashville, Tennessee, downtown Nashville. And then once we're done, we're going to walk our little booties over to Broadway and we're going to go listen to some live music. So I'm really, really excited. So I appreciate all of y'all for being here today. That is all that I have, and I will catch everybody next week. So happy Tuesday, everyone. Think Realty Orlando. See you in 2 days. And until next time, I'll catch everybody then. Bye, y'all.